Okay, I'm going to show you how to do a couple of little action scripts, but it's going to be enough that it will help you to work on your movie. Okay, before we even get started and talking about action script, I just want to show you that I have a welcome screen. You need to have a welcome screen in your file. This one says welcome to the Jungle Sound game, and you actually need to put a little instruction. This is something that the mom and dad can read to the child that are 3 to 5 years old. So the instructions tells them what they need to do. Click each animal to hear the sound it makes, and then you have a start button. I mean, you can reinforce this throughout your file if you want, and do what they're supposed to do in the game. But you still need to have some sort of start welcoming screen and start button to go into the game. And also you notice here that I have another button that is a back to games. That's actually a website. That's the first button that we're going to work on. So what I want to do here first is I'm going to go into the timeline and just take a look at keyframe 24 is where my welcome screen ends, and then keyframe 25 is where all the animals start to open up. Okay, so I'm going to put my first action script on, but let me just take a look and see how this looks. It just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. So I have to put some sort of stop action on this. So I'm going to put my first action script on. So I am going to go up to Windows and I'm going to open up Actions. And I'm just going to write stop. Before I do that though, I have to put in an action layer. So let's do that. I'm just going to call this action script. And make sure the first keyframe is selected. Now I'm going to open up my action layer. I'm going to write stop. Got to make sure that you do this correctly. So let's see what happens now when I test the movie. Now you see that the movie stops. And this is the first action that I want to do. I don't want it to run from the first keyframe to the last. So that is our first action that we're going to put on this movie. So now I'm going to put on an action to the back to games button. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to make sure it has a name. I actually named it. You have to give all your instance a name, because if you don't name them, then you can't put an action on them. So I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to open the code snippet panel. This is the code snippet panel is my favorite panel. If you open it up, you can see you have all these different actions that you can use. You just have to hover over the photos and it'll tell you what they do. You can just kind of go through and look at them. It's really a good idea to look at them all, and so you have a good understanding of what each one of these do. So I'm going to open up the first one that says action. And what do I want to do? Okay, so this is going to be for a website, and I want to go to that website. So I'm going to have them click to go to the website. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to double click it. And you notice that it makes it the action for me, and it tells me this gray part here tells me exactly what I need to do. So I'm just going to change the name down here. It tells me that I need to change the name, so I'm just going to call this games. And let me see what is going on here, if it works. But before I do anything, I'm going to go down my timeline and I'm going to see that I have another layer. You know, Flash is trying to help me, so put another layer, but this is going to cause a lot of problems in my file. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. You should only have one action script layer. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back down to this one, and I am going to paste it. So now I have two actions in my file. I'm going to go and delete this first one because it's going to cause a little problems. I just want to have one action layer, and I have two actions. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see if it works. loaded the games. So I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm going to close this one up now. So the next one I'm going to work with after I do the back to games button, obviously, is I want to work with the start button. So what I want to do is I come to the welcome screen, my user comes to the welcome screen, listens to the music, and now I want to go into the file and I want to listen to the animals and see what kind of sounds these animals make. So I got to select the start button on the stage and I have to give that one a name. So I called this one start button. So what kind of action am I going to put on this? Okay, now I know that my welcome screen ends at 24. My animals start at 25. So I guess I probably want my file to go to keyframe 25. So I'm going to be doing something in the timeline navigation. So I'm going to select this, timeline navigation. So what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to make sure this is at the first. We made sure it was at the first keyframe. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look down here. I think I want to maybe click to go to frame and stop. Alright, so click and go to frame and stop is right here. This is what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to click and then it's going to go to the frame and then it's going to stop. So I'm going to double click that. Okay, for some reason, oops, I hit the wrong one. See, that's what happened. If I accidentally, let me go back because I was showing you. Make sure I have the start button. See, it's very smart. Flash is very smart. So I'm going to double click this. Okay, so what frame do I want it to start at? I've assumed, that the animals began at 25, so I am going to click frame 25. Okay, so again, if you look in your file here, you're going to see that, again, they have added another frame here. So I am going to just select this one. I'm going to select this. For some reason it went on 25. I didn't want it to do that. I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to put it on in this action script. Okay, so it's going to stop at 25. But back to this one, I'm going to trash it. Alright, so we have everything on this keyframe. So let's just see what happens when I play this. Okay, so I like what I have so far. Now I haven't put any back buttons or anything else in this file. I'm just showing you how to place in some action scripts, and you can do the same thing when you're on the second screen. When you go here, you're going to want to put some back buttons, or arrows, or whatever you want to do, forward buttons. You want your child to be able to get back to the welcome screen too. You might want to have a little icon for that, for the child to go back to the welcome screen. So just kind of play around with this. It's kind of a fun project. Take a look at the code snippet. That's going to be your best friend, and just kind of look at all the different codes and what you might want to need. So it pretty much is self-explanatory as to what they do. So I'm going to stop here now, and I hope this tutorial helped you.